My dear friends, on this feast of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, the readings invite us to reflect on our own families, their joys, struggles, and calling. Through the lives of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, we are shown how God desires to dwell at the heart of every home. The first reading from the book of Sirach reminds us that family life is not only a human arrangement, but part of God's loving plan. God gives parents a special dignity and responsibility, and He asks children to respond with respect, gratitude, and care. To honor one's father and mother is not just a rule to follow, it is a way of living that brings blessings into our lives and into our families. Sirach tells us that those who honor their parents find joy and peace. Their prayers are heard and their lives are strengthened. This honor is not limited to childhood obedience, it continues throughout life, especially when parents grow old, weak, or dependent. The reading gently challenges us to show patience, kindness, and compassion even when it is difficult. Respect does not disappear when parents are no longer strong. In fact, that is when love is most needed. The Feast of the Holy Family helps us see this message more clearly. Life for the Holy Family was not easy. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph lived their life on the run. They also faced financial struggles, with Joseph working as a simple carpenter, and tradition suggests Joseph may not have lived long into Jesus' adulthood. Mary and Joseph were not perfect, but they trusted God and supported one another. Jesus learned what it meant to belong, to listen, and to love within a family. In doing so, he made ordinary family life holy. This reading invites us to reflect on our own families. Some of us experience warmth and support, while others carry pain or broken relationships. Sirach does not deny these struggles, but it calls us to choose love, forgiveness, and respect every time. Honoring our parents can take many forms: a kind word, a patient heart, forgiveness, prayer, or simply being present. On this feast day, we ask God to bless our families and help our homes become places where love is learned, faith is shared, and God is honored through the way we care for one another. The second reading, taken from the letter of St. Paul to the Colossians, St. Paul describes what everyday Christian life should look like, especially within the family. He begins by reminding us who we are: God's chosen people, deeply loved by Him. Because we belong to God, our actions should reflect His love. Paul encourages us to clothe ourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. These are not just good qualities, they are choices we make every day. Paul knows that relationships are not always easy. That is why he speaks about forgiveness. In families, we often hurt one another through words or actions. Paul reminds us to forgive as the Lord has forgiven us. Above all, the love must hold everything together. When love leads our actions, peace can rule in our hearts and in our homes. Paul also speaks about gratitude and prayer. He encourages families to let God's word live among them through teaching, encouragement, singing, and thankful hearts. Faith is not meant to stay inside church walls. It should be lived and shared at home. Simple prayers, kind words, and moments of thanksgiving help keep God at the center of family life. In the second part of the reading, Paul gives guidance to family members. He speaks about mutual respect, care, and responsibility. His words remind us that authority in the family should never become control or harshness. Love and understanding must guide every relationship. Children are encouraged to listen and grow in trust, while parents are reminded to nurture and encourage, not discourage. This reading invites us to examine our own families. Are our words kind? Are our actions guided by love? When we live these virtues daily, our families become places of peace, forgiveness, and faith, true reflections of God's love in the world. One evening, a family experienced a power cut. No lights, no Wi Fi, no phones. At first, everyone was frustrated. But soon they sat together, lit a candle, talked, played a game, and ended the night with a simple prayer. Later, they all agreed that power cut gave us back something we had lost, each other. When comforts are taken away, we often rediscover what truly holds us together: love, presence, and trust in God. The gospel taken from Matthew shows us the Holy Family not in comfort but on the move, facing fear, danger, and uncertainty. Joseph is warned in a dream to take Mary and the child Jesus and flee to Egypt. He does not argue or delay. He rises immediately, gathers his family, and leaves in the night. What stands out is that the whole family is together, united in trust and obedience. God is clearly at the center of their lives, guiding their decisions even when the path ahead is unclear. Jesus begins his life as a refugee, carried in the arms of loving parents who protect him at great personal cost. This reminds us that God chooses to enter our world not through power and security, but through vulnerability and dependence. The Holy Family experiences displacement, fear, and waiting, real human struggles that many families continue to face today. When Herod dies, Joseph again listens to God's voice in a dream and leads his family back not to a place of comfort, but to Nazareth, a simple and unnoticed town. This shows us that faith is not about dramatic miracles alone, but about daily attentiveness to God's guidance. The Holy Family teaches us that staying together, trusting God, and moving forward one step at a time is already a holy way of living. Looking at today's families, this gospel speaks very directly to our situation. Many families long to be together, yet they feel increasingly divided. Prayer in the family is often challenged. Busy schedules, tiredness, and distractions make it hard to sit together before God. Generational gaps add to this struggle. Parents and grandparents often feel they no longer understand the world their children live in. One major factor is social media, which promises connection but often leads to isolation. Family members may live under the same roof, yet remain emotionally distant, each absorbed in their own screen. It is telling that Australia has moved towards banning or restricting social media for young people, recognizing the harm it can cause to mental health, relationships, and real human connection. The Holy Family invites us to pause and reflect. What holds our family together? Is God still at the center of our home? Even simple acts, shared meals, or short family prayer, listening without phones can become modern ways of journeying together. This week, let us strive to make our homes become more like Nazareth. Not perfect, but prayerful. Not free of problems, but full of God. May God bless us all.